GameFly? I mean, you read the title of this video and probably saw GameFly's logo in the thumbnail. But yes, I bought games from GameFly. I did not rent them. I'm not renting these. I bought them from GameFly. I bought an Xbox game, Assassin's Creed Mirage, a Ubisoft original, apparently. Everybody's got to have their originals now. Comes in the case. I think you just get the disc when you rent from GameFly, but I could be wrong. And then Princess Peach Showtime. But there's another package over here because they don't just do games. They also do movies, and I collect movies as well. You might laugh at this one because I probably could have gotten Madam Web for a lot cheaper brand new, but hey, I was curious to see if you could buy a 4K Blu-ray that supposedly has a digital copy and see if the digital code was used or not. I didn't know this had a sleeve on it, and the sleeve seems to be in decent condition. I'm not offended by that. And there is a digital code on the inside. If you're going to try that now, it's not going to work because if it is still available to use, I'll be using it in about 5 seconds. And boom, it does work. I can redeem it. Would you look at that? And I had a feeling this would work because I follow a guy named Wario64 on Twitter, X, whatever the heck you want to call it. I've been following him for a long time. I call him a deals guy because he's my deals guy. I get a lot of deals from following him on Twitter. And he mostly does video game stuff and video game related stuff. And he likes to promote GameFly. I don't know if they pay him. I don't really care if they do or not. It's kind of good deals, and I've always been kind of interested in it. I'm not a GameFly member, but you can get like 5 to 10% off, I think, when you buy stuff if you are a GameFly member. But that's a subscription, and I don't really rent games. I don't really want a subscription model to rent games. If I could do it like Blockbuster, I probably would. But they will sell their used games, and they will put them on sale, and it's pretty cool. And since I'm really only familiar with their model from the outside looking in, I don't know what it looks like when you get these in as rentals, but I'm assuming they don't send the game cases in because these look pristine. And Wario64, pretty much every time he tweets about GameFly, says that it includes any manuals or anything that's normally included with these games. So there's no manual with this because it's a modern Switch game. But it does have the cartridge, and I'm not going to lick it because this has been in many people's possessions, presumably. But it does look barely used. It's a fairly new Switch game, but there's like no scratch marks on these gold contacts. This looks freaking amazing. This was maybe used once. It probably just went in and then out of one person's console, and then they sold it to me, is my guess, because that looks immaculate. And so does this case. I also got Assassin's Creed Mirage because it is a cheaper Assassin's Creed game that I've not played yet. And I wanted to get a disc game to see how this looked. Which, I mean, I think the only time this ever really spins is when you're downloading the game. And then after that, it just checks to see if you still have the game. There's actually kind of a couple of, not deep scratches, but noticeable single lines around this disc. Which all you really see is the reflection of my camera. But it's not the best looking, but other than the like 3 or 4 single lines, it does look pretty clean. There's like a smudge from someone's finger. It might even be my finger. I don't know. But that looks pretty good. And it does come with this stuff. I'm not going to show this code because this actually isn't for me. I'm going to give this to someone else. And I don't know if they want that code or not. But if it's anything like the Madam Web copy, it's probably not used. So that's pretty cool. And these look great. I assume they work just fine. I didn't even look at the Madam Web discs. This is unused. There's not a single scratch or anything on this. This is immaculate. There are dust particles on it. That is it. Maybe whoever rented this, if anybody rented it, only has a Blu-ray player, doesn't have a 4K Blu-ray player. No, I don't think this was ever rented out a single time. There's like one little scratch on the very edge there, and that doesn't affect anything. Actually, I think that's just from the factory. I don't think anybody ever rented Madam Web, and you probably shouldn't watch Madam Web. It is not a good movie. I found it funny because I watched it with my best friend, and I think it's really funny to watch if as like a Sharknado event. Like you know it's bad going in, and you're there to laugh at its mistakes. But yeah, I got these 3 games, or these 2 games in this movie on GameFly, and I spent $65 in total. It did come in 2 separate packages. They both say Pittsburgh as the like return address, but they didn't both come from Pittsburgh. I think these came from LA and this came from Pittsburgh. I'm sure they have little distribution centers everywhere, or at least a couple of them scattered around the US. But it was only like $5 for shipping, and that was 2 different labels for 2 different packages. So that's a pretty good deal. I would have liked to see a little bit more than just a bubble mailer because I've bought movies from like Target or Amazon and then they get crunched. Thankfully, these did not. But I would like something rigid so my cases don't get destroyed. Thankfully, that wasn't the case here, but don't expect any more than a small bubble mailer if you're going to buy from GameFly. I now have this feeling of dread that I may have said GameStop a couple of times in this video. If I said GameStop, I meant GameFly. But I think this is honestly a really good deal. This was unused. This was practically unused. This is practically unused. Like, yeah, there's like some tape that I need to peel off, but this is Xbox branded, so I'm assuming most Xbox games come like this. I don't know. I don't buy many Xbox games. I'm sorry, I'm a PlayStation guy, but I do own a Series X and all the other Xboxes. Anyways, that's not what this video is about. That came off with ease. Okay, complaint over. Other than a few pieces of plastic that they just haphazardly ripped off in the GameFly studios. I don't know why I said studios. These are immaculate. I am very happy with this purchase. I believe I only spent about $30 for this game. Not all of the games that they offer will go up for sale. It is very limited qualities as far as I'm aware. So you kind of need to be in the know when they add new games. So like following someone like Wario 64 is probably a good idea. I don't know if GameFly like has a Twitter account that they post about when they add more stuff to their for sale section. But like I was looking for any movies that I would want that I don't already have. And this was kind of the only one that I was like fine if the digital code didn't work. So that's why I picked this one up. I've been wanting Princess Peach Showtime. I almost got it through Woot, which I kind of want to make a video on Woot. But yeah, I kind of recommend this. I think this is a great way to buy games and movies if they happen to have the game that you want available. I think this is a great place to shop for gamers and movie collectors if you are shopping for someone for like Christmas or something. That way you can get something that is valued at like $60 from Nintendo, but for half the price, and it's pretty much new. Yeah, it is used, and there's some snobby people like me who don't really like that because I prefer to have stuff brand new. I like unwrapping it. But to save a lot of money to get it slightly used, and it comes with everything else, and the case is not tarnished by some random person renting the game, that's awesome. Because like buying old Blockbuster or Hollywood video games and movies, those cases are battered and disgusting from the thousands of people that handled them, whether they're just in the store or taking them home. That stuff was disgusting. I've got a few Hollywood video and Blockbuster games. Not the best condition nowadays. They're kind of cool collector pieces now, but getting something from GameFly in like 20 years, I'm not going to remember that I got Princess Peach Showtime from GameFly. I probably will think I bought this new because of how good it looks. Like when I buy games used from game stores, I will wipe them down. And honestly, I don't feel the need to wipe these down. I'm not going to lick them. I'm not going to eat off of them, but they're clean. And I don't feel like I need to get alcohol over this. I just don't recommend licking the Switch cartridge if you're buying it used. So yeah, if you're looking for cheaper games and you don't mind that they're slightly used, these 3 things that I bought maybe aren't the most popular movies and games, but they are very lightly used and they are discounted at heavily used prices. So thank you very much, GameFly. Sponsor me. I will probably be buying used games from GameFly a lot more often now because this was freaking awesome. Especially Switch games, because Switch games like never go on sale. Heck yeah, dude. And like movies, man, I liked this. I didn't like this movie though. All right, bye.